Hey, good morning. Lisa Rossmeissl, owner of Boomerang Escapes. We're in my kitchen this morning. I am going to now make red sparkler punch to bring to my friend Jan's house. A bunch of us travel agents, travel consultants, travel advisors, more like a personal concierge. A handful of us are getting together today at her house for a fun little gathering, proper social distancing, so no worries there. But this is a drink I actually brought a couple years ago to one of her parties. I've already shared the recipe on the Boomerang Escapes news feed, and I also shared it over on my personal feed. It's so super easy, great to be able to take to a party because it's transportable, and fun and light for the summer. And of course, you can always make it non-alcoholic too. But one of the four pillars of living a happy life here for me is indulge. So it's escape, thrive, revive, and indulge. I will be getting a handful of those in today as I escape to my friend's house. I indulge in great food and conversation, which of course, relaxing time, which will revive me, and just thriving on the joy of being out and doing something normal today. So super, super easy. It consists of, the punch itself too can be made ahead of time. So it consists of cran raspberry. I just went with the generic brand. It's got about 96 ounces, 8 cups of that. And then limes, lots of limes for lime juice. If you remember watching the other day, I love lime. And that's kind of it for the base of it. Then when it sits and you can, like I said, you can refrigerate it, you can make it a day ahead of time. Then when you're ready to serve it, you would be putting in some pink brute. I just grabbed a California brand here today, so I've got 2 bottles of it. This is making a recipe, for 24. And then if you didn't want the champagne, you would do club soda. So the raspberries, I've got the stuff already. You've got raspberries and blueberries. These are more your garnishes. I've already got some in colanders because, of course, they've been washed off. Same with limes. I keep a bag of limes on hand, but I've got limes in my colander over here. Now, with the raspberries and the blueberries, you can either put those in and make your own ice cubes and put that in the glass then when you serve it. Or in my case, I've got some little skewers here to make a fun little thing, and I'll bring some in a Tupperware over to her house because it's a little harder to transport ice right now. But if I was serving at home, I would probably make the fancy ice cubes. So super simple. And one of the things that makes it easy to transport, you can get yourself a big pitcher like this. Cheap. It's an inexpensive cocktail for 24. So I don't typically measure out, but this bottle is more than I need today for this. So we're gonna just, like I said, super, super simple. Hardly any ingredients at all. You probably, even if you've got kids, you probably keep this around anyway. I'm probably sure you could make it, I do it with the cran raspberry, but you could pick one of your other cranberry flavors as well. I'm gonna pour this right into my, and yep, shoot. There we go. I did a no-no, that's right. Careful with your laptop in the kitchen here. Messy. All right, I'm just gonna scoot this back a little bit farther. All right. Everybody, things should be still. I saw it come up for cancel. I think I'm still running. Yes, it looks like I'm still live. All right, yeah, and we'll clean that up afterwards. We'll move it away a little bit. We're going to move this a little bit farther over here. Again, we're just going to forget the pitcher. We're going to pour right into here. This one's about 128, so we'll fill it up to the 2 quarts, which is about it. We're just eyeballing it here. It's 128. So I'll pour my punch in there. Get that out of my way. So now really the work of all this, hopefully this knife is better than the one that the work is really just in your limes. I find that usually one lime will produce a tablespoon. It calls for 8 tablespoons. So I'm going to just cut up 8 of my limes here and start squeezing away. I have this antique, I mean, if any of you know, I've spent a lot of time, probably a third of my life in Vermont. So I have a lot of this green depression glass. This was my great grandmother's. It's an old juicer. So use this. Well, like I said, typically 1 lime. I mean, and you can juice it any way you want, but typically 1 lime I find makes a tablespoon. And like I said, I really kind of you know, the recipe's there, but I kind of just go with the flow. So it might have a little more, it might have a little less, but we'll see how. Then I just grab this here so I can empty this out. Since this is not one that has the holes underneath that you do, you know, just have to see. And that is like about a tablespoon there. So we've got 1. You get to watch me. So something you might not have known is I do indulge. I like following 80-20, but I do actually love to cook. I know I told you the other Thirsty Thursday, I'm not really a weekday drinker. Typically, I only drink when I socialize, but I do love to play and experiment in the kitchen. I find cooking and doing this sort of stuff entertaining. I find all of that very relaxing. I don't know if you guys have been actually cooking more now that you've been in COVID quarantine or not. I cook regularly. I cook almost every night of the week. I make something. Always have. I'm not really a fast food girl. Eats my stomach up. My idea of fast food would be picking up one of those already cooked roasted chickens. That would be. It's very warm and humid here today. I can even feel it in the house with the air conditioning running. So, but I went ahead and put my apron on today. I got this apron, kind of snagged it in a cooking contest, kind of like oh, what's the show on TV? Like Master Chef that we were doing in Australia in the Outback. So that's another story to share. Might have to recreate what we were making for that. So, well, we've got about 3 in. So I'm about halfway there with my limes. I probably should have squeezed these out ahead of time, but that's all right. I wanted to share the thing. 4 more there for my 8. The reason I have extra limes too is they can also be, you can slice them up for your garnish. You can wait for your glass garnish. Like I said, I'm going to make these little cute little skewers too. Another thing for getting your limes, you know, juicier, of course, is rolling them beforehand. Get the juices going. And I do. So I kind of play with this too. Once I get the lime in there and the juice and I mix it up, I might play with it a little bit to see if it needs a little more lime, a little more, you know, play back and forth, the lime and the juice. I don't care if I have a little bit extra. There's punch, because like I said, it doesn't have to be mixed with alcohol. Besides the club soda or doing a brut rosé, you can also do a bottle of white. You could do a white wine. So if you're a white wine drinker, also an option. So lots of things to play around with this. And that's what I kind of like about some of my recipes, that they're like, you play around with them, change them. So we are almost there. And then this is all going to go right in there. We're going to stir it up. Like I said, the recipe is already, it's in my blog on Boomerang Escapes, or you will find it in the news feed today. Super simple, super easy. What you guys got going on for your Saturday? I'm sorry if you're commenting right now because of the way I've got this set up. I can't see your comments, but any comments down there, I will go back and look at after I get done and respond to you. I actually write a whole category of blogs called Passport for Your Palate. So you can find those if you go to my website and you select the category culinary. You will see not only cocktail recipes, but other recipes, all of them inspired either from my moving around the U.S. or from my travels across the world. And like I said, I love to cook. I love to try new foods. I eat everything. I haven't found anything I won't eat yet. So makes it pretty easy for me to try most anything. And I've got a really good stomach when I'm traveling. I would tell you though, if you're got a delicate stomach, traveling probably is not the time to try something too offbeat or new for you. You don't want to be sick. Or you can always remember to carry the Imodium and that sort of your stomach calmers if you are going to be adventurous while in destination. So we're getting there. I'm down to my last two. So basically, you make this ahead of time. So when I go over to my friend's house today, I'll bring this pitcher. I won't have put the champagne in. Actually, what everybody will be able to do is they'll be able to put, maybe a half a glass of the punch and then pour in the club soda, the champagne, the white wine on top of it to their liking. So it's really nice that way. People can monitor how much alcohol they want or don't want. So yeah. So I won't be tasting it right now, but I will take some photos later when I'm at my event this afternoon and show you the finished cocktail and have a toast. I want to open up the champagne. I'm going to be putting the champagne in to cool. This will go in the refrigerator, so everything is nice and cold. It actually is so nice when it's so hot and humid. That was one of the things we loved about this drink the last time I made it. It's just absolutely refreshing, especially on a hot day. I know we've got more thunderstorms in the area here that could come in later today. So it's going to be a sticky one here in the Northeast. All right, we've got all the lines there. Let me pour it in here. And then I just grab one of my long wooden spoons and we'll mix that up. And just give me a second. I'm going to grab my phone and just check the feed quick before I go on to my little skewers here. So put that there. I'll be right with you. Give it a quick look here. There we are. Okay, it looks all right. And just wanted to make sure there was nothing. Like I said, I'll answer you all later today. So, all right. So I will give this, I'm going to grab a little glass here just to see if I've got enough lime for me in here, what the flavor of this is. Actually, I'm going to cut it with a little more lime. So I'll cut up another 2 here to add in there. And then I'll add a little 2 in there. But I don't need to do that with you here. So I have over here my raspberries and blueberries, right? Raspberries, blueberries. Ready to go. Oh, I know what would be cute here. I could cut up a lime too and make put a little lime wedge on there too to hold everything on. But basically, we're just gonna thread the blueberries. Let's see, so you just make a blueberry skewer. Yeah. It's one of the fun things too about cooking. It's kind of like being a child with your arts and crafts. That's a big one. No, we could, I don't know, I'll have to play with it and see, I can put a little cap on there for our skewer for the drink later. But, so I will make some of these. I will also create some little lime wedge garnishes as well. Well, that's pretty much it. Super easy. I'm going to put a little more lime in here, like I said. I'm going to toss this all in the refrigerator, and that's it. So get out there, create and live a life you love. Have some indulgences. That's what makes life fun. And I will see you next time.